Okay, guys, bigstar1000's Gimmie 10 New York. Let me see if we can do this with little man here because he won't go play. On Fred's tip on Miles Davis, I'm going to kind of cruise on that vibe for the first 3 albums and show 3 fusion albums, which include players from his bands on different albums, Bitches Brew and a couple others. But I don't mean just your tip-of-the-mill fusion records. I'm talking standards or templates of the genre. So the first one's going to be a band where John McLaughlin and Billy Cobham met in Miles Davis recording of Bitches Brew, and then they added Jan Hammer, and this is Mahavishnu Orchestra. So the players may not be from New York, but they met in New York as a result of Miles Davis and started playing together. And this is from 1971, and absolutely a template for fusion. This is on Columbia. Next one, same thing. Started by Wayne Shorter, working with Miles Davis in New York. This is Weather Report, also from 1971. And this is also on Columbia. This is their first.
Not your crickets.
Next one's from 1976, and this is a Chick Corea project called Return to Forever. And this is actually my favorite from them. In my opinion, this is the freest. Great fusion record from 1976. And this, oh, I know what I was going to say. The cover, kind of a product of the time, you know, with all the prog bands. The medieval theme there. Okay, some free jazz. Another New York guy. Actually, I think he was born in Fort Worth, but moved to New York. Ornette Coleman, and this is a later one of his. I could have shown, you know, some of his first albums and first free jazz albums, but I absolutely love this album. This is also on Columbia. I think this is his most beautiful album, put it that way. But I can hang with the avant-garde stuff, and that's a good segue to the next one. On one of my favorite labels of all time, Interstate. This is Cecil Taylor Unit. Here's the label. And this is Daredevil to Themselves, and this was from 1977. Crazy has some good players on it. David Ware on tenor sax, James Lyon alto sax, Rafe Malik on trumpet, Mark Edwards on drums. Each side is one track, 23-minute track and a 26-minute track.
It was time to turn off.
And the next one is a great CTI release. And this is Randy Weston, Blue Moses. And I read that he wasn't happy with this mix because he wanted it to sound more raw. And I know I've mentioned in my previous videos that sometimes I'm not impressed with the CTI sound, and I think that that's why sometimes I don't finish the record because they sound so polished to me. But I think no matter what, with this record, they hit everything right. I mean, it's no matter how polished it is, it's just fantastic. There he is. And I am warming up the CTI Fred. I did pick up that Diodado that you suggested. Okay, this has, I mean, how can you make a bad record? Hubbard, Grover Washington, Hubert Laws. It's got some other people on there too. I think Joe Farrell's on there. It's funky too. And that's one of the other reasons why I like it. And continuing on another killer monster of a funk record from 1973 on Just Sunshine Records. Miles Davis's lucky dude wife, Betty Davis, and she grew up on a farm, moved to New York, and was a fashion model. But she had met like Sly Stone and Jimi Hendrix and stuff like that, and eventually married Miles Davis. And she thought that being a model is just going to last as long as your looks do. So she started making some music, and I mean, heck of a funk album. And actually, I love all her albums. That's not the only one that I have. Okay, let's do a 180 and go rock and roll. Actually, mid 1970s garage rock. The Flesh Tones. And I love these guys. I think that they're very creative. They sound good. This is on IRS. Good players. Hexbreaker. This album is from 1983. And they, I really don't think that they've ever put out a bad album. It's really nice later garage rock. Next album's Hooks, just great rock and roll. 2001 killer. Strokes. It's their debut, and really the only one that I listen to. It's a classic. I mean, this is a absolute classic. Gatefold, and I'll show you something on here. There's a guy on here, J.P. Bowerstock, right here, and he's called the Guru on here. And he in the 2000s he played on so many great records. Ryan Adams' Cold Roses, which was I think recorded 4 years after this. I think he may have been on some Elliott Smith albums, but I'm sure that he has something to do with how good and catchy this sounds. And I also like the way that the guitars sound in this, because they actually sound like it's an organ. They tune them and turn them down so low that they sound like it's keyboards, you know. The last one is the best noise rock band ever, Sonic Youth. This is a box set like Fred showed, just a different record. Iconic cover there. Goo, 1990. Really nice package. Okay, that's it. That's all I have. And it looks like we have 40 seconds. So what you've been listening to is Forgetters, and they are from New York. This is brainchild Blake Schwarzenbach, who was also in Jets to Brazil and first in Jawbreaker, and he is a true lyrical genius. You guys should check him out. He's been making music since the mid-'80s. Bye.